All right, today we're going to be creating a value scale just to get back into the concept of basic drawing because a lot of you have probably been away for a while. So we're just going to get back used to the pencils again. So what I have here on the side is a value scale. Value is the use of light areas and dark areas. And what this helps you to achieve when you're creating a drawing is the illusion of three-dimensional depth on a two-dimensional surface, which is your piece of paper. You cannot create 3D unless you're building, but we can create the illusion of 3 dimensions. And you can see it goes from very light to a high value range where it's really super dark in that area. To achieve this, we have different types of pencils. You have pencils that are very light. For example, your lightest pencils are going to be like an HB, where it's going to say on the side like an HB. You're going to have like a 2H or 3H. This one is a 3H. This one is a 3H. All that means is if it has a H behind it, it is a hard-leaded pencil. When it starts to have the letter B behind it, like this one is just a B, that means that you're starting to get a softer lead. So the higher the number in the B's, like it'll go 2B, 4B, and all the way up to a 6B or an ebony pencil. This is an ebony pencil. It means it's just like a 6B, which is an extremely dark lead. That'll allow you to get those really black values in the piece, like this number 10. But in order for you to do a pencil drawing, you don't need to have all of those. We're just going to practice using some of those today and create something simple like what you see here. So I'm going to start off with the 2H. The first thing I'm going to do is just draw me a box. And I'm just going to go on both sides just using a ruler. That way I don't have to spend a lot of time making a bunch of boxes. And then I'm going to measure out 1-inch segments all the way down to number 8. And then across there, I'm just going to go ahead and draw my lines. And this is going to be my scale reference, just like the one you see on the side. Your first box, you're going to leave white because we also need like white in pictures. That way we have strong contrast from dark to white. It's like having opposites. So the next thing we're going to start doing is creating values. So one thing with the problem with the H pencil is like when you're creating values, you can do something extremely dark like what you see here, but I want to have a slow transition, a gradual change from white and slowly get darker as I progress. You have to use pressure points. So here I just want to go slightly darker than the white. So I'm trying to use like some circles so it doesn't get too linear like this where it looks very messy. Trying to keep my lines closer together. And I'm not going to do the whole entire piece today. I'm just going to give you until basics. One thing I like to use is blend it in so it looks a lot smoother. If you like the rougher look on a pencil drawing, that is okay too. If you like a smoother, more polished look, these two things can help you. This is just a paper nub. It's just like wadded up paper. I do not like it just because of the fact if there's somebody who's used it before, there'll be things on it and it makes it, as you can see, a lot darker. This is just your basic Q-tip. This won't change your transition, but it'll smooth everything out. And the good thing with the Q-tip is you can keep it because it'll have darks on it. So later when you have a place that needs a lighter value, well, you can come back and use that. So now I'm going to go up to another level. So I'm going to go progress. So I used a 3H first. Now I'm going to go up to an HB. It means that the lead is hard and it's now getting softer. So I'm using this side I'm comparing to, and I want to go darker than this side. And I'm only going to do half. So I'm going to start off with my pressure points nice and soft and slowly build that value box up. You do not want to have sharp pencils on this because if it's really sharp, your points will leave marks into your paper. So it's nice to have like a blunt pencil. Then I'm going to go ahead and blend that. And you can see that it is a lot darker than that one. I might have went just a touch too dark. One thing this helps you out, this is for the white. When you squint and it blends in with the number 1, you did a good job. Number 2, if you squint, I could probably gone just a little bit darker. But you can kind of use this. Here's number 2 on my third one, and that blends in, transitions well with the number 2. So you can use this to kind of as a little cheater to help you with your values, but you can also just use the human eye. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to go up a little darker. Now you can use this pencil twice and go a little bit darker, like I'm going to show you down here, and I'm just going to give it a little bit more pressure and cross my directions to create a darker value. And then I would blend that in, so you can pretty much use like a pencil all the way through as long as you're just using different pressure points. It's a little darker on the transition. So the next one I'm going to use is a B. And that is kind of like a number 1 pencil. It means that now it's getting dark. Not extremely dark, but darker. You will notice even as you press with these, you can tell the difference in the lead. I almost like using my B instead of the H's because the lead is so hard, and just try to use pressure points. And then if I get a little bit too dark, I can use a kneaded eraser to lighten. As you can see, this and this, they look about the same if I was increasing. So if they look the same, go with your same pencil that you just used, and I'm going to increase the value just a little bit more. That way I have a better transition from one to the other. And now it's a little bit darker. This is a kneaded eraser right here. It's kneaded, it kind of looks like gum. You stretch it out. Once it gets black, it's time to throw away, but it doesn't take much. But if you get too dark, so you can, if you look right here, you can just lift the value up. And one thing great about it, it picks that all up right in here, and it leaves it lighter there, and it has no eraser crumbs. So as you can see, we did a B. Now we're going to go on to a 2B, and we're going to go just a little bit darker. Now you would stay in each one of the squares. I'm doing this for time purposes. Now my pencil is kind of sharp, so I might want to blunt it out a little bit or try using more circles so I don't get a lot of lines. So I'm trying to increase the value here. I'm going to blend it with my Q-tip so it looks nice and smooth. You can see what it does. That looks pretty good. Next one is a 4B. I'm going to go a little darker. So I'm starting to press a little bit harder. I'm going to change my angle, and then I am going to blend. Now, there we go, darker. Your last one, this is my ebony or my 6B. And this, as you can tell already, is super shiny. It's hard to go darker than dark, so blend it, and there you go. Now these are all my leftovers. You can see how keeping your dirty Q-tips might aid you in areas that have a lighter value, or you can just use the Q-tip. Another trick in drawing is to use some powdered graphite. Now when you use this, I would use a paper towel onto the side, because when you tap it, I just tapped, I didn't squeeze. If you squeeze it, it'll come out all over the place. And see, and you can pick up, see, and create values with this. This is really good if you are creating a background in your picture. So just kind of think about this in the future. It does show a lot of texture, as you can see, but you could probably use a paper towel, a tissue, something soft to smooth it out. And then here's your lifting, like with your gummy. Also, your pink pearl erasers have beveled edges on it, so those are really good to use beveled edges in a drawing to create lines for like grass and things like that. Whiskers, you got it. So this was going to be your first assignment in Art 1. Just to get back into everything, you are going to do a value scale. This will then lead you up to your second assignment, and then we'll go on with a takeaway drawing, which will be number 2, so you will get a grade for this piece.